What began as a quiet weekend within the sacred halls of royal tradition soon turned into whispers across Windsor and beyond, as Lady Louise Windsor, the low-key and beloved granddaughter of the late Queen Elizabeth II, stepped into the spotlight once again, but this time, not for duty or family protocol, but for love. In a discreet yet unmistakably symbolic move, Lady Louise welcomed her boyfriend to a royal residence as she prepared to take part in one of the most prestigious equestrian events on the royal calendar. For watchers of the monarchy and those fascinated by the young generation of royals slowly defining their own paths, this was a seismic moment filled with subtle cues and significant implications. Behind the ancient stone walls of the royal estate, where tradition and discretion hold sacred weight, Lady Louise chose to break through the expected mold by intertwining royal duty with personal affection. This wasn't merely a visit, it was a soft unveiling of a romance long shielded from the media. The young couple, known for their shared love of horses and country living, spent quiet, treasured hours together within the expansive and private grounds. Observers noted that it wasn't just a social visit, it coincided with Lady Louise's participation in a prestigious horse riding event, an arena where she has steadily carved out respect and admiration. As carriages rolled and hooves thundered, Louise was more than just a competitor. She was a young woman standing on the threshold of adult life, making choices not just about sport but about who she chooses to bring into her most protected spaces. Her decision to have her boyfriend by her side, on royal land, no less, spoke volumes about how comfortable she feels within both her role and her relationship. It was a quiet yet resounding declaration that Lady Louise is no longer simply the shy granddaughter once glimpsed beside her grandmother. She is emerging as a poised figure of independence and strength, possibly heralding a new royal storybook chapter altogether. Royal insiders were quick to notice how seamlessly her boyfriend blended into the royal environment. Though not officially introduced to the public, he appeared familiar with the rhythms of the residence. Eyewitnesses reported seeing them share walks across the manicured lawns, whispering laughter behind trees, and even observing the majestic stables where the horses are kept. Fitting, considering their shared passion. For Louise, horses have long been more than a hobby, they're a gateway to the world she finds most peace in. Her involvement in carriage driving, inspired by her grandfather Prince Philip, is more than just sport, it is legacy, and to share that legacy with a partner is deeply intimate. But in the world of royalty, even the most personal moments come with ripples. Speculation began to circulate. How would her parents, the Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh, respond to this seemingly public-private blending of affection and tradition? Those close to the family suggest that Edward and Sophie are nothing but supportive. Having raised Lady Louise and her younger brother James with an eye toward balance, between royal expectation and personal freedom, they've long encouraged Louise to pursue her interests without the burden of rigid royal labels. Allowing her to bring someone into that world, especially within the controlled yet emotionally charged setting of a royal residence during a prestigious event, is a nod to their trust in her judgment. Moreover, the entire event served as a stark contrast to the media-saturated relationships of other young royals. Where some romantic associations have played out under the relentless glare of paparazzi or in scandalous headlines, Lady Louise has built hers behind closed gates and over shared values. Her boyfriend is not a tabloid regular, nor is he someone courting the limelight. That in itself seems intentional. This isn't a relationship for public consumption, it's a bond nurtured in authenticity, where their shared love for the equestrian lifestyle speaks louder than Instagram posts or flashy dinners. The setting of the event added more layers to this unfolding narrative. The royal estate, with its historical depth and elegant surroundings, served as both a symbolic and literal backdrop. The same grounds that once echoed with the voices of Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip, now echo with the laughter of a new generation daring to write their own love stories. Louise's appearance on horseback, steady and composed, echoed more than just discipline, it echoed emotional confidence. She is grounded in her identity, sure-footed in both love and ambition. And what of the public? Royal watchers and fans of Lady Louise have long admired her discretion, her grace, and her quiet strength. Her equestrian appearances have steadily grown her reputation, making her one of the most relatable and admired young royals. The decision to share part of her personal world, even without formal announcement, has drawn not criticism but warmth. People see in Louise the kind of modern royal who doesn't chase headlines but earns respect through substance. Even more telling was the support shown by extended family members. Reports hinted that Zara Tindall, herself a revered equestrian and Olympic medalist, offered kind words and encouragement. With Zara's royal pedigree and sporting success, such a gesture speaks to a recognition of Louise's dedication and growing stature. For anyone born into royalty but not burdened by direct succession, building one's identity takes effort, and Louise is doing just that, with elegance and care. As the weekend drew to a close, whispers about the young couple continued to grow, but not in the scandalous tone so often seen in royal circles. Instead, there was a palpable curiosity, a warm eagerness to see what's next. Will Lady Louise make more public appearances with her partner? Could an official engagement be on the horizon? Is this relationship one that signals her step into a more visible, adult royal role, or is she simply choosing love without strings? There is something almost cinematic about it all. The young royal woman, stepping into adulthood, riding horses on the grounds where history lives, being cheered on quietly by her supportive partner while the world watches, spellbound yet respectful. It's the kind of narrative that doesn't require exaggeration. It captures hearts because of its simplicity, its authenticity, and its defiance of spectacle. In an age of celebrity culture and oversharing, Lady Louise's story reminds us of the quiet beauty of a love that grows out of shared passion and mutual respect, not headlines. Even as the gates close once more and the event concludes, the echoes of that weekend remain. Not just in photographs or fleeting social media clips, but in the subtle shifts within the royal fabric. A new chapter is clearly beginning for Lady Louise Windsor, and her decision to let her boyfriend into that world, however gently and cautiously, marks the start of something meaningful. Whether she steps further into public duty, chooses a life of private passion, or blends both in her own way, one thing is clear: this young royal is not just riding horses, she is quietly steering her own destiny. What we witnessed that serene weekend was more than just the blooming of a romance. It was a carefully calibrated expression of identity, set against the backdrop of centuries-old royal traditions. Lady Louise Windsor, who had always lingered at the edges of public fascination, has now stepped gracefully into a realm that merges personal autonomy with noble responsibility. She did not announce a relationship in the press. She did not pose for staged photos. Instead, she allowed the world to quietly observe, to notice the subtle signals: a shared presence, a natural closeness, a respectful entry into her private sanctuary. In doing so, she sparked a kind of admiration far deeper than flashy headlines ever could. For those familiar with royal history, the act of bringing someone into a royal residence is no small gesture. These residences, like Windsor Castle or the lesser-known royal lodges and stables, are more than physical structures. They are bastions of protocol, family legacy, and the tight-lipped discretion that defines the firm. Only those truly trusted, truly welcomed into the fold, are allowed to experience these spaces not as tourists or outsiders, but as part of the royal rhythm. For Lady Louise to share that space with her boyfriend speaks volumes. It suggests a relationship grounded in mutual respect, nurtured over time, and now ready to be acknowledged, albeit in the softest of ways. Insiders whisper that the young man, whose identity remains unconfirmed by the palace, has been known to the family for a while. He isn't new to royal life, at least not emotionally. He understands the unspoken rules, the moments when silence is more powerful than words, and the times when a simple hand on the back says more than any statement ever could. Louise, known for her introverted nature and fierce loyalty to her family, would not take such a step lightly. This isn't about rebellion or spectacle. It's about a young woman quietly choosing who gets to share her world. And that world, though not in the limelight like that of her cousin Prince William or even Prince Harry, is still rich with history, symbolism, and expectation. Lady Louise may not carry the burden of a crown, but she carries the legacy of the Duke of Edinburgh, whose passion for carriage driving became her own. She has taken up that mantle with not only grace but skill. At the Royal Windsor Horse Show, she has competed with a seriousness that signals both her dedication and talent. To have her partner there cheering her on is no coincidence, it is integration. It is unity between who she is as a royal and who she is as a young woman in love. Interestingly, the public reaction to this romantic weekend has been overwhelmingly positive. Comment sections and forums typically ablaze with speculation and critique are instead filled with admiration. "Lady Louise is becoming the royal we didn't know we needed," wrote one commenter. She's showing us that you can be regal without being rigid, romantic without being reckless. Others praised her for her discretion, noting how rare it is to see a royal relationship develop with such quiet dignity in an age where every moment is usually blasted across the internet. And dignity is indeed a word that follows Louise wherever she goes. Born premature, often kept away from the public eye during childhood, and never styled as a princess despite her eligibility, she has moved through royal life with a humility that has earned her the public's affection. Her decision to attend St. Andrew's University, yes, the same one where William and Catherine met, is a further step in the direction of carving out a meaningful adult life. There, she'll have the opportunity to study, grow, and perhaps continue this blossoming relationship away from palace walls, among the normalcy of student life. Yet, her choice to include her boyfriend in this particular event was clearly deliberate. Equestrian events like the Royal Windsor Horse Show are deeply personal for the Windsors. It's where the late Queen Elizabeth felt most at ease, where Princess Anne and Zara Tindall honed their competitive skills, and where Prince Philip's passion for carriage driving took root. Louise is now part of that continuum, and by extension, so is her partner. Walking those same fields, watching her compete from the sidelines, engaging with those close to the royal stables, these moments were a trial by tradition, and by all appearances, he passed. It's worth noting how well this aligns with a broader trend within the monarchy, one that embraces a more grounded, relatable version of royal life. Gone are the days when royals lived in ivory towers, untouchable and unknowable. Today's younger generation, from the Waleses to Princess Eugenie and Princess Beatrice, are redefining what it means to be royal. They hold jobs, live in homes rather than palaces, and marry for love rather than alliance. Louise's romantic presence at a royal residence fits perfectly within this evolution. It is both a continuation of tradition and a gentle rebellion against it. Behind the smiles and gentle whispers during their weekend together, there are surely conversations happening within royal circles. Questions of protocol, public appearances, future engagements, and media handling all come into play. Will we see a joint appearance soon? Will the palace acknowledge the relationship in a formal capacity? And, if the relationship continues to grow, will he attend family events, state occasions, perhaps even a future trooping the color? These are questions only time will answer, but Louise has set the tone, quietly, respectfully, with undeniable sincerity. Family reactions appear to be not just accepting, but encouraging. Prince Edward and Sophie, the Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh, have long modeled a more hands-on and emotionally supportive style of parenting. Their decision to raise their children without royal titles, giving them the option to embrace public life on their own terms, is now paying off. Louise's grounded nature, her decision to attend a regular university, and her involvement in competitive equestrian sports all speak to a well-balanced upbringing. Bringing her partner into that world suggests a level of parental trust that's as rare as it is admirable within the royal machine. Moreover, there's speculation that the Queen herself, Camilla, that is, has taken an interest in the young couple. Known for her love of horses and strong ties to the equestrian world, Camilla has reportedly been impressed by Louise's skills and her graceful demeanor. There are whispers that she may be among those subtly guiding the next generation of royal women, encouraging Louise to pursue love and personal fulfillment without sacrificing dignity. Such mentorship, if true, could prove pivotal as Louise steps into the public sphere more prominently. And what of the royal brothers, William and Harry? Observers note that Lady Louise shares more in temperament with William, measured, loyal, emotionally intelligent. But the way she has protected her relationship from media intrusion echoes Harry's early approach with Meghan. The key difference: Louise has managed to maintain that privacy without escalating tension or stirring headlines. She may very well be demonstrating a blueprint for how modern royal romance can thrive, away from spectacle but without hiding. Every moment of that weekend, from the shared carriage rides to the long walks by the stables, layered meaning onto what at first seemed like a simple visit. It was a soft declaration: "This is who I am, this is what I love, and this is the person who stands by me." In that declaration lies the future of a monarchy increasingly shaped by choice rather than obligation. Louise may never wear a crown, but she wears something just as meaningful: authenticity. The couple's departure from the residence, discreet and unceremonious, left a lasting impression. There were no waves to the crowd, no public statements, just a quiet slip back into normalcy. But for those who saw, those who sensed the significance, the message was clear: something important just unfolded behind those ancient gates. Something that could shape the next generation of royal relationships in a way that blends history with heart. As the royal calendar moves forward, fans will watch for signs, perhaps a photo at a university event, perhaps a subtle handhold during a family gathering, or maybe an official engagement announcement someday soon. But for now, Lady Louise has offered us something rare, a glimpse of genuine love developing at its own pace, within a world known more for its rules than its feelings. And now, as you reflect on the quiet power of that royal weekend, we leave you with this: could Lady Louise Windsor's approach to love and royalty be the guiding light for a new era of modern monarchy, one that honors tradition but listens to the heart? Leave your thoughts in the comments. Do you support Lady Louise's soft royal romance? Smash that like button if you admire her grace, subscribe for deeper royal insights, and share this video with friends who love royal love stories.